everyone, and welcome to Summer Book Recommendations, not Summer Book Club, because summer is crazy. I know summer's crazy for a lot of people. I've been in book clubs over the years, and usually we kind of stick to a school year calendar just because so many people go on vacation and there's so many conflicts in scheduling during the summer months that most book clubs that I know of that meet physically anyway take the summer off. We are going to do that too. I am anyway. Feel free to meet amongst yourselves, but there's so much, especially for me this summer going on, that I have decided we are going, and I did anyway postpone it just because of all the end of year school events going on in my life and my kids' lives, that I put book club on hold. So, a couple of things. Number one, we do need a book club book for fall. We should do one towards the end of September, reconvene. So let's throw some titles around in the discussion down below in comments. Also on my Facebook book club group, I will link to that in the description box below also, so that we can chat there as well. That is a closed group, so if I'm slow to accept your request, give me a few days. And then, so we're looking for some titles. Also, I want to talk about how I read my books. I have not held a printed on paper book in a really long time. I feel like I was one of the last people to jump on the ebook bandwagon. But for me, especially someone who is a voracious reader, I have to read every night before I go to sleep. No matter how tired I am, even if it's only for 10 minutes, I have to read at least a little bit every night. So I do go through a lot of books, and I get up early and I read a little bit in the morning as well. So if I had to purchase or go to the library physically every time I needed a book, it's a lot. So I love having ebooks because I can instantly get another one even if I finish a book at 3 o'clock in the morning, whether I am ordering one directly through Amazon to be loaded through the Kindle app, or I can go online to my library where there are ebooks for free constantly for me to download. So I have a nice mix of books I actually buy and books I get still through my library, but in an ebook or Kindle form. And when I say Kindle, I'm not just referring to this guy. So the Kindle, I have the Kindle Paperwhite. I love it. This is just a random title that gets loaded when it's in sleep mode. I don't actually own this book. I know nothing about this book. I don't use the Kindle very much during the non-summer months because I prefer the ease of what I'm about to show you next. But I particularly like the Kindle because it is a non-glare screen. There are upgrades to this. There are fancier versions than this. I like the basic Kindle Paperwhite. This is not in a case. I will link a case that I actually, I touched it and got it started. I will link to a case that I actually have my eye on. But this is very lightweight. It has a non-glare, it's glaring off my lights right now, but it has a non-glare screen, which is ideal for summer months because that's generally when I'm going to be outside reading, whether I'm sitting by the pool, beach, at some outdoor event. I can actually read this outside without the sun bouncing off it and making it impossible. It is also, as I think you can tell, it lights up. So I can also read it in bed at night without having to turn the lights on and disturb the man sleeping next to me. That man would be my husband. I don't know why I was being vague. Most of the time I'm reading on my mini iPad. It is significantly heavier. I am a multitasker because, I have some text coming in here, but I have the Kindle. The Kindle app is free, so I have it loaded on here. So my Kindle app is down here, and there's the book I'm reading. But what I like about this is because I have my mail apps on here, YouTube, all my social things. I still get notifications coming through on here, so I can keep up with emails that are coming in. If something important scrolls by or texts, I won't miss them. But if you actually want to get unplugged, maybe not a bad idea to just have the Kindle. I don't know. Let's talk books if you're still here. So I am going to list below all the titles that I mentioned. They will be linked to Amazon. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, cannot stress enough how great that is because you get free books to read being Amazon Prime. Can never get enough books to read. But also please do check your library for ebook options. You would be surprised what they have, and there's interlibrary lending and all kinds of stuff, even through ebooks. So I'm all for buying books and supporting authors, and I do weekly, but sometimes it's just not feasible in your budget to buy every book you want to read. Authors get that too. So Support your libraries because those are really important to keep around as well. Really, really, really important. Okay, so I'm a bad book recommender because I tend to just read series. I don't love standalone books. I don't like getting invested in a book and the characters and then it's over and you never see them again. I'm gonna recommend some series, and if you are a longtime viewer, you've probably heard about all of these, but I feel like they are important and worth reading, especially in the summer, because some of these books are really, really long, or they're really long series, and so this is a great time to grab a few if you're going on vacation. Number 1, Outlander. If you haven't read the Outlander series, there's 8 books. They're all about this thick in print. I do own all of them in print and in an ebook form. Great summer reads. I have been reading this series since it first came out 20 some odd years ago. It has been made into a television show. The television show is okay, but if you are a book lover, if you love the series, you probably don't love the TV series. They've taken some creative license with the plots and the characters, which drive me nuts. But be that as it may, check out Outlander. It's time travel, it's romance, it's Scotland, it's colonial America. There's romance. Did I mention the romance? It's just, I loved it so much it actually inspired us to take a trip to Scotland. That's crazy. Okay, next series, I've talked about this for years as well, Discovery of Witches. Talk about a just horrible screen adaptation. I watched the first 4 episodes of the television series. Don't even get me started. Like, that's a whole different video. Like, that's a whole long rant video. But the series Discovery of Witches, it's a trilogy. If you are into, again, time travel, if you like Outlander series, I think you'll very much like the Discovery of Witches series. It's set in modern day. There's a lot of science, but then there's also a lot of time travel and historical fiction going on. So there's also vampires, witches, and demons. There's a little bit of something for everybody. Now these next ones. The Country Club Murders, we talked about it in my second book club meeting, the first book in this series. There are 8 books in the series. They are all, each one better than the next. And the reason I'm bringing up the Country Club Murder series is, 1, it's a great series to get into for the summer. They're fun reads. But the 9th one is coming out later this month, June 18th. I've pre-ordered mine already. I'm very excited. So that one is set in the early to mid 70s in Kansas City, country club scene, but the fashion and just the humor is just fabulous. And the main character has a Weimaraner. Didn't know that when I started the series, but really like that. Okay, and then there is the Kate Shugak series. It is a mystery series set in Alaska. There are 20 some odd books, I believe, in the series. The main character is basically a private investigator, native Alaskan that lives kind of out, she lives in the middle of nowhere. And the series is fabulous and did also inspire the trip to Alaska for me. But the latest in the series is coming out in July. So if you want to get caught up with all of her books, Dana Stabenow is the author. You can start reading right now. And be a lot to get through 20 books before July. But, maybe some of you are crazy readers like me. And then not the last series. Another series is the Armand Gamache series. Another murder mystery. I guess they all always are. A mystery series. This one set in Quebec. Sometimes Montreal and sometimes in a small village in the province of Quebec. And I read this series after I had already gone to Montreal, and I very much want to go back just to see that region again. The characters are really fleshed out. It's a long series. It's a fabulous series, and Louise Penny is the author. My sister-in-law actually is the one who recommended the first book to me. I think it was A Still Life. Thank you, sister-in-law. And I've just been hooked ever since, and I think you very much will be as well. A couple of series I don't think I've talked about. The first is the Peachtree Bluff series. It's set in coastal Georgia, modern day, very much more like a beach read kind of thing. And there are 3 books in the series. The third one just came out, I believe. And each book focuses on a different sister in the family who come back to the family home for various reasons as adults. And just the stuff that's going on in the town, and you get attached. I really like the series. The author's Christy Woodson Harvey, and again, Peachtree Bluff. I love reading about places where I don't live, because it's not just that I get into the characters and the plot, but I feel like the setting is almost like another character. So I've not spent any time in coastal Georgia, but I'm intrigued. Speaking of the South, another series, a long series, lots of books in this series. It's the Deborah Knott series from Margaret, I think it's Maron, M-A-R-O-N. A Bootlegger's Daughter, I think, is the first one in the series. There's probably close to 20 in this one, too. There's a lot. This one is set it's in North Carolina. The main character is a lawyer who becomes a judge, and she comes from a very large family, very large, and she's the only girl with, I don't know, 8 or 9, maybe more brothers. They're all adults, and it's just the relationships and the stories and the town and the people in the town and all of that over the span of this whole series is intriguing and fascinating. And I've been to that part of the world. I'd love to come back. And it's beautiful. And so it's fun to visualize it in my head while reading those books. And then the last series, I have actually been there as well. It's the Chet and Bernie series by Spencer Quinn. These are really fun mystery books. Chet is the dog, and Bernie is a private investigator in Arizona, I believe in Phoenix, Arizona. And the book is written from both of their perspectives, both the dog and the PI, the human. And I love the humor, and obviously I'm a dog lover, so I love pretending like what it would be like if our dogs could talk. I know all of you dog owners have thought about what it would be like. What are they saying in their heads? Anyway. So those are the ones that I'm looking forward to revisiting. Many of them have new books coming out in this series. There are three standalone books that are on my reading list for the summer that I've been combing sort of the bestseller lists and other things that pop up in my emails about things that are coming out. So the first book, actually, I'd heard about it from a number of sources, and then there is I guess I'll call her an Instagrammer. We Love Pat Altschul on Instagram is doing a book club on the book Where the Crawdads Sing. Everyone is talking about this book. And again, set in the South, and the setting is almost like a character as well. I'm intrigued by this book. I don't think I'm going to get it done before her book club, but if you're interested, I'll put the link to that Instagram account below. We've DM'd a few times. She's really interesting. The person behind the account is very interesting and well-spoken, well written as well. Fascinating. Big fan of Southern Charm, friends with Patricia Altschul, so there is a connection to Southern Charm. Not in this book, Where the Crawdads Sing, nothing to do with Southern Charm. Okay, next book is Mrs. Everything. It is the latest book from Jennifer Weiner, I believe. I don't know why I'm looking at my phone like I can look that up. It's a book about two sisters and the very different paths their lives take, and it looked very interesting to me. I have never read, I don't think, anything by this author, and everybody seems to love her, so I'm going to put that on my reading list. And then the last book is called Queen Bee. It's by Dorothea Benton Frank, and I have read a bunch of her books. Again, very much like a Southern fiction, modern-day kind of writer, more of a beach read type book. And that's all I'm going to say on that. If you like Elin Hildebrand or Mary Kay Andrews or even any of the more Southern mystery series I've mentioned, I think you would like this author quite a bit. So Elisa Patton, that's another one. Remember, she wrote Rush, and she wrote a whole series about an innkeeper in Virginia who's from Memphis and wants to come back home to the South. Anyway, if you like those kinds of books, very Southern sweeping generation type things, I think this book could be right up your alley. Hopefully it's up mine too, because it's on my wish list sitting in my Amazon account right now. So those are my current recommendations and things that I am eyeing. But most importantly, I want to hear from you. I want all of us to kind of talk amongst ourselves in the comment section. What are you reading? What have you just finished? What do you think I would like? What do you think we all would like? Do you have ideas for book club? Now, just remember, if you're looking for like deep, intellectually stimulating recommendations, I am not your person. Like, I read to escape and to have fun. So I'm usually not a fan of Oprah book club books, anything that's sad, tragic. No, I could just watch the news. Please leave your comments, your suggestions, your requests below. Can't wait to see what everybody is reading. I've gotten so many great book recommendations from all of you. So I'm really looking forward to this comment section. Thank you again for hanging out with me today. Happy reading. And don't forget, we will reconvene book club in September. So get those recommendations coming. I can't wait to see them. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.